Hello, bonjour, savant. How are we today? It is Tuesday, January the 28th, 2025, here in southwestern Ontario, Canada, by the beautiful frozen shores of Lake Huron. The sun is shining. This is what, the third day in the row, or a few days anyway. Although the snow is a coming, so yeah, I want to get out for my walk before all that starts up. But I just wanted to come on today and express the feelings that are coming our way. It is delineating a whole new ray, a whole new higher day, a whole new expression of our higher way. So, peace and love and light, your day. We are speaking to you from the fifth generational diamond ray. Okay, so in meditation this morning, I was feeling this huge rush of love come through me. Heart chakras are opening up across the world, across your world. It's a genetic light influence that is creating more and more rhythms of higher light. So your expression can be of a higher light. You can start to speak more clearly and more lovingly and more kindly, compassionately with one another than what you have been able to express via the throat chakras before. This is, speaking of throat chakras, this is a meeting of the minds and so much more. And this is our tendency to explore a whole new, it's like an apple core, so that's the toroidal field of light. We are beginning to explore and express so much more. All right. And we do want to say some more. Okay. There has been a transition in your timelines, in your wavelengths of time. They're more propitious, I always hear that word, and they're more kind. They have an aptitude for the higher mind. So this is all an expression of our divine timeline. So there are choices here, as we have expressed with you before, that when we get to these juncture points in time, that we choose, we can delineate, we can choose a higher line, the divine line, or the weaker lower line that obfuscates the higher mind. So we're not going in blind, we understand it's a higher state of mind. So there are more and more people in your world, on your planet, who are beginning to see the light, in other words. They're beginning to see their astral Skype, as I hear it, in other words, their astral light, and these lower wavelengths of the lower light. So in other words, they're starting to be able to see both, the duality of your system here on your planet and on your world. They're able to, it's like conjecturalize, which is not a word, of course, we know, but they're able to stabilize their thoughts enough to see that they've had enough of the lower ways of being. The wars, the dissension, the decline in the spirit light. They're able to see the lies being perpetrated on your planet once and for all. They're able to rest and digest these old anxieties and the fears and the pain out of themselves and their traumas and their victimhoods, their blame, shame games, disdain. We've talked about this for years. They're able to finally see the root chakra cause of their, I'm hearing it as their eternity, in other words, their life. What they viewed as their life and eternity. But it's not really, as we spoke about the other day, about our timeline shifts and changes, we can actually navigate those ourselves. So if we don't want to be on our lower timeline, we don't have to be. With a thought, we can think it and send it out, and our whole aura changes. Our whole light system moves and shifts with our thought vibrations, with our genetics, our DNA. So we process information now in a different way. This is part of the unbrainwashing that we have seen being done to you on your planet. It's now visible for others to see, because we keep sending you higher and higher light codes for you to wake up and to see your energy, your own light energy, cellular frequency bodies of light. They tell you the truth of the light. There is no animalistic engineering here. Okay? That's what we are trying to make disappear. So we're trying to facilitate an energy field around your world and around your planet such that it discharges the lower painful light. In other words, the animalistic. In other words, aka the reptilian brain. That steeps itself in disdain and blame, shame game. Hence, all of the old programming, victimhood, etc., 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 as we keep repeating ourselves about that. Once we understand how the brainwashing works, we can undo that. We can unseal it, because it's like a truth that's being unsealed for the first time. I'm seeing a picture of the book of Revelation, the angels with the 7 seals, and they open each seal and then something happens, But it's basically to clean up the planet. But I'm also seeing a picture, so we understand this thought. I'm also seeing a picture of when I watched the new president of the United States. He was seated at this big desk, and he was signing executive orders. And I wanted to see what the executive orders were. And one of them was the unlocking, unsealing, or the revealing of what happened to JFK and Martin Luther King. Finally, the truth comes out. It'll be the same with everything else. So that's the thought process we're referring to. That makes it clearer to you. So there's an unsealing, there's a revealing, an unfolding. It's a yearning that we have now as a planetary significance of light. We want to know the truth now. Before, we were covered up with the lie and we just let it go by, as we've heard for years. Now, it's the time to do the unveiling. We're showing you the truth, because that comes from a higher frequency of light. And only when you're residing in these higher frequencies of light can you see it. It's a third eye blind mentality. When you're deaf, dumb, and blind, you don't see it, you don't care to know it, you just turn a blind eye. Like, don't show me, I don't want to know. Hideous crimes have occurred on your planet and on your world. And these beings of lower light, or the animalistic light, is like, I don't know. I don't want to see it. It's too upsetting. I don't want to see it. How can you heal it unless you see it? Again, you got a thorn in your side. If you don't pull that thing out, you won't heal properly. Right? It festers. Okay? And then it's infected. It's diseased. It's not a fun state of being, is it? So choosing death and destruction is one way, but choosing love and light is another. And now you have the opportunity on your world and on your planet to seize hold of that and actually do something with it. Instead of cowering in the dark and being afraid of everyone and everything around you. I just finished watching a show on Prime Video. I wanted to talk about it for a few minutes. It's called 9 Perfect Strangers, and it's with Nicole Kidman, a couple of other, maybe even a few other top name actors and actresses, and then there's others I don't know, I've never seen before. Have you ever noticed that we have on all the new shows coming up, there's a whole bunch of new actors and actresses we've never seen before? What happened to the older ones? Only a few of them showing up, right? Anyway, this is all about people who have been traumatized, who are at the end of their rope, and the last ditch effort, they go to this very expensive wellness center. I can't even remember where it's supposed to be. Anyway, and this Nicole Kidman, who runs it, she's kind of like a shaman type of person. She uses rather unorthodox methods of healing, but she helps these people through a very dramatic series of events to actually overcome their traumas and to heal. And from there, they go on and they teach others how to do the same. And I thought, as I watched this, it took several nights to get through all of them. There's a whole bunch of episodes, but I just couldn't stop watching this. This was, to me, like so representative of what's happening on your world and on your planet. Because there are a few of these beings around you who know how to heal you of your traumas. These people have not gone through the typical educational process on your world, and thankfully so. These are higher trained beings of light who've come in here who actually know how to heal without the brainwashing process of your educational system of lower light. So these beings come in and they help you to rest and digest those old traumas out and to bring in the higher light. We're rewiring the brain of the thinking processes. We're changing the DNA. And I'm hearing schooling you or teaching you about the higher way. So it's a higher way of thinking, being, acting, talking. You know, you've heard this all before. So I highly recommend it. I'd go into more detail, but I don't want to wreck it for you. Spoiler alert, I don't want to do that. But we healers of the higher thought waves, we don't use the 3D physical means in which our dear Nicole Kidman chose to do, but that's what she had at her disposal. It's more shamanistic to use the 3D physical material from your world. But there are higher ways of learning, and there are higher ways of being without that type of process. Rather exciting to see the person after they have healed from their traumas, their brainwashing. It's like I'm being shown like a circuit board. It's like a new circuitry board gets instilled in their brain, in their brain stems of light. It's fantastic. Then they can see themselves and everyone else. And because they've healed themselves, they can go and heal others. So it's a beautiful thing. The other thing that's coming to mind to say that I didn't say the other day, you know, I've been watching the old Doctor Who series again, and it's on Prime Video as well. And there were a couple of shows about these reptilian types of humanoids who live, you know, under the ground. And I I know I watched all the Doctor Who's, like a long time ago when they first came out, even before this series that's on Prime. There's older ones as well. Um, and I just, because I like sci-fi, I've always been drawn to it. I'm a Trekkie, all that kind of stuff. Um, it just kind of, this is just somebody made all this stuff up. But now we actually know this does exist. And I'm starting to realize as I'm going through some of these old Doctor Who shows that there's so much truth in there. It's just, there's so much truth. So the truth has been right there, but again, we're blind to it, choosing to be deaf, dumb, and blind. Ooh, it's too upsetting. I see two types of people. They either love the sci-fi, Trekkie kind of stuff, or they hate it. Oh, I can't watch that. It's terrible. It's ridiculous. It's whatever. It's too scary to them because they know, that part of them knows that it's for real. So the scariest thing is facing yourself and your fears. That's what we're working through. You have to do it to get to your higher divine line of time. But what I've been shown by Spirit Light over the last couple of years, a few years now, I moved here, as you know, in the spring of 2022. What I've been shown so much. But lately, the latest spiritual lesson I'm going to talk about is, to me, what I'm realizing now is the most dangerous person of all. And it's not what you would think. And that is the person who cannot think for themselves. So they may not be, some crazy psychopath, murdering, whatever. It's the one who cannot think for themselves, who looks to everybody else to tell them, show them, demonstrate, lead them, and however the other person or being wants them to be led. That leads to dominance and control, which has been here for a very long time, since the reptilian codes were deposited in you, in your mind. So those who are still not awake and aware, or who can think for themselves, or who want to think for themselves, it's time. You have to wake up now. There's no more waiting, and no more waiting to be led. You have to wake up. You have to take back your own authority and your own power of your own mind. And that's bringing in the connections of your higher timelines, working with your energy fields, and bringing back your divine mind. Anything else is a lesser line of time, and it's not divine. And again, as we've spoken about before, if that's your choice and you don't want to wake up right now and you don't want to think for yourself and etc., 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 that's your prerogative. That's your choice. If that's part of your blueprint, your plan from your higher selves, then so be it. But for those who that's not their plan and they're supposed to be waking up, this is the message for you. Stop looking to other people to lead you and lead yourself. Be a good lead yourself. And I dance, so I always use those dance references. So in partner dancing and ballroom dancing, you've got to lead and you've got to follow. Okay? Typically, not always, but typically, the man is the lead and the female is the follow. Just because that's the way the masculine and divine energies work here. Okay? But it doesn't matter. One has to know how to lead. The other has to be in agreement to follow. If the one does not agree to follow, the other one, who is the lead, can't lead. Right? They're equally powerful. They're equally balanced in the light. right? You need two to tango. Takes two to tango, as they say. It's true. Takes two. Try doing a partner dance by yourself. It doesn't work. Doesn't work. So learn to lead yourself. Learn to think for yourself. Stop handing your brain and your mind and your will over to someone else to tell you what to do. Ask yourself, why do you like someone else's authority over you? Why do you like that? Is it laziness? Fear? It's time to grow up. That's what a child does, or a baby. It's dependent on the parents for its survival. You don't need to be like that. You don't need to be a child anymore. You can actually grow up, walk all by yourself, talk all by yourself, feed yourself, dress yourself, clothe yourself. Think for yourself. Grow up, be an adult, and become master of yourself. Okay? And nobody else. So in other words, you don't get to go and rule over somebody else either. Okay, it's autonomous. You have integrity. You treat yourself and others well, and equally so. All right. So I'm hearing that's enough, that I should go. All right, so I shall. All right, blessings, everyone. Take care of yourselves and others. And we'll continue on with our spiritual lessons another day. If you wish to book an appointment with us, you can go to the website, www.healingourenergy.ca. All right, bye for now.